Hey, John here, and this is the Canon Rebel T3i with the Canon 430EX Mark II speedlight flash. And in this video, I'm going to show you how to use this pop-up flash on your Canon T3i to control this flash off-camera automatically, otherwise known as Wireless TTL. So to get started, first I'm going to go to my camera. I'm going to turn it on. Right now I'm just going to be in program, which is the automatic setting. But you have far more control over what you can do. Now, the fastest way to get to the flash control, where you're using this pop-up flash to control this flash, is first you need to push this button to pop up the flash. When you do that, this symbol appears here on your quick menu. So when you go to your quick menu, you push your Q button, and over here you push set for your flash control, and yours will be set on here probably. Normal flash firing for the built-in flash. That's what we're talking about here. We're telling the camera what we want the built-in flash to do. Do we want it to normally fire? Do we want it to do what's called easy wireless, or do we want to do what's called custom wireless? So, if we do custom, or easy, easy wireless is where the camera largely decides what the exposure is going to be. You don't really have a lot of control. You can go back to that setting, and if you push the info button, which is right up here, you'll get more details about what you can control. And in here, you can only control the channel that you're on for the flash, and that's it. So it's not really that useful in my opinion. The next one, however, is the custom wireless flash shooting method. And if I push the info button on that, I get far more information. Here, you say, okay, well, do I want my off-camera flash, or do I want this flash right here to be ETTL or manual? I want it to be ETTL. I want the wireless function. You're going to have three options. Off-camera flash in a ratio of power to the on-camera flash. The next one down is off-camera flash only is in the exposure. And then the third option is off-camera flash and on-camera flash are combined together in an even ratio in order to get a correct exposure. Normally I would recommend using this because unless you really want the on-camera flash to be part of the exposure as well. Now if you do this, you can see there's a colon there. It means that's a ratio of power. So when I go down here to the bottom, you can also see that same symbol representing the off-camera flash and on-camera flash, and then you see these numbers. So if I push the set, this is a ratio of 1:1, 2:1. It's saying, if I go to like 4:1, it's saying the off-camera flash is going to be 4 times as powerful as the on-camera flash in my photo. Everything's still going to be exposed correctly, but the light coming from this flash is going to be a lot more than the light coming from the other flash. Now you can see it timed out there on me. I can just push my Q button and go back to the custom, push the info button again, and I'm right back in that screen. So here's my ratios, and if I want to change that ratio, here they're the same, and then you can go the other direction as well, but 2:1, all the way up to 8:1 difference, which is pretty cool. And you push the set button to set that. Now just above that is the flash exposure compensation. So when you're in the wireless mode like this is where you would go if the flash in your photograph is too bright or too dark. And so you're telling the camera, okay, well the flash is too dark, so let's pump it up a little bit, or it's too bright, so let's tone down the flash some. And you would push the set button, and you can see now it's at -1 or whatever you would set it to. Once you're done with that, you can just tap the shutter button and you'll go back to your regular shooting. And so now your camera is set here, you can see, to do wireless TTL. Now you need to set up your flash. So the way that works is this is the 430EX2, but this should also work on the 430EX as well as the 580 or the 600, because I believe they all work the same way. This squiggly symbol right here is their wireless symbol. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the flash on, and it shows ETTL. Now that is basically the automatic mode for flashes, and it's also showing the zoom level at 35mm. Now what these things mean are, the ETTL means it's referring to electronic through the lens, meaning that a light reading is taken through the lens and then communicated to the flash when it's either connected to the camera on the hot shoe or we're doing this wireless type of setup. And then it tells the flash how powerful to be in order to get the correct exposure. Now the zoom level is, the light bulb in here actually moves back and forth. It's motorized. And it's motorized compared to this lens right here. And different positions of the bulb compared to this lens will throw the light different distances. So that's why you have a zoom level based on the zoom level of your lens. Now, when I switch to the wireless mode, I do that by holding down the button with a squiggly line. So let's do that. So now my wireless mode has popped up with a symbol here. And in this mode, you can see I'm still in automatic, TTL, but my zoom has changed to manual. That's because this camera won't communicate the zoom level that you're at to the flash, largely because it's irrelevant, because the flash isn't on the camera anymore, it's off the camera. So now you need to think about the zoom more as this flash in relation to its distance to the subject and what that millimeter might be. So that might take some experimenting with your actual lens or some guesswork. Now in this mode, in order to modify some things, if you want to modify the power of the flash from the flash itself rather than from the menu system in the camera, you would push the middle button here, the select button. If you hold it down, and then you get your flash exposure compensation right there. It's flashing. You can push plus for go up to make it brighter, or down to make it darker. You can see it's gone negative there, or I'm just going to put it in 0. If you have some type of diffuser on here, you're usually going to have to pump up the flash exposure compensation. Now the other things you can modify, if you just push this button just simply without holding it, you can see that's how you change your zoom. Now I can do plus or minus to change my zoom level. If I push it again, it'll cycle through to channel 1, and then which group. You want to make sure that your camera is also set to channel 1, group A. And then you're really ready to go. You'll also see here on the front of the flash that the light here is flashing. That's indicating that you're in wireless mode. The actual sensor is probably this one right here. This flash has a lock right here, so you can pivot it up and down and all around, meaning you can have the flash pointed at a subject, but the sensor, which needs to have line of sight with this pop-up flash, can still be visible. It can still pick up the signal from here. That's what you really need. So also, if you're using a flash stand, you can often find a 1/4 inch screw hole on the bottom there, so you can mount this on a light stand or another tripod for your own little studio setup. So in order to do it, let's see if I can get it to work here. Alright, here we go. So it's a little difficult to see on the video, but this flash went off and this flash went off at the same time. And if I go ahead and review my photo, it's all white. Well, let me see if I can take a picture of the actual flash and see how that works. So there you can see that I get a pretty decent exposure. You can see the flash made the paper brighter in this area. However, it didn't overexpose everything. It's all correctly exposed. That's because this flash communicated what was needed to that flash. It needed what power it needed to be at in order to make sure there wasn't too much light in the picture, just enough to get the right exposure.